Millionaire Mindset call, guys. And now I have the honor of bringing up a powerhouse to the call. I mean, we call her the Power Coach, guys. She's a 2-star director, fancy approach, and 3-star director, guys. She's already put together a team of over 500 active ITA agents, guys. She's a minister, guys. She's a life coach, guys. She's a public speaker, guys. I mean, she just wears many. She's an author, guys. I mean, she's just a motivator. I mean, we call her the paint-sized pistol. Do I have my sister in success? Do I have Power Coach Madeline Alexander on the line?
Yes, you do. Coach Philip Rollins, I am here. I just finished another class and I jumped on right on time. I'm so excited to be here with everybody. Got to give it right back to you as a phenomenal 4-star director and breaking those amazing $100,000 earners. That is so amazing what's happening within your team. I'm excited to be here with you as we're just pressing forward and just helping everybody to equip their team. So I want to jump in and do a great teaching tonight. We're going to talk about coachability. What do you think about that subject tonight, Coach P? I want to talk about coachability really being the key to your success, but I want to talk about it from a little different angle, like how to really build a coachable structure within your organization. So I'd love it if you would stay close by, Coach P, because I'd like to bounce some ideas off of you on just some concepts that I think from your perspective you've seen building an organization as well as yours and having as much success and duplication within your organization. We can't get that down without coachability, but I want to talk about it from my perspective as a professional coach and just give people how to build a true winning culture as far as coachability. Like, how do you create that? We know we need coachability, but sometimes it's hard to really create that culture within our organization. So that's a subject I want to break down in a little bit more detail tonight to help people have some keys on how to actually do it, how to create a culture where people are not resistant to coachability and embrace it, how to be effective as a coach, and then also how to create coachability within your team. So what do you think about just that concept, first of all, Coach P, to break down as we're moving into momentum, we're moving forward, we've got explosive growth, having coachability within this industry and in what we're doing in our organization, like that is critical to your success. So talk about that just a little bit, Coach P, and then I'm going to jump into this teaching, and then we could debrief it after that side.
Wow, well, I mean, if you can see me over here, Power Coach, I'm smiling from ear to ear. You know, I wrapped up a 3-way call prior to the Millionaire Mindset call, and they had a lady that was asking me, what if it did not work, right? And I had made a post earlier. I said we need to start focusing on, why things will work and why not things won't work. And at the end of the day, coachability, because one thing I told the lady, I said, I said, as long as you're coachable, I can pretty much guarantee that you're going to be able to be successful over here, right?
Exactly.
Coachability. And then I know you're going to go into it, but I'm going to get off of it, but that makes me excited. We got a lot of new people on the call tonight, Power Coach. And you know what? If you just was coachable, if you was extremely coachable, that would guarantee you. Like, what if people just understood that, Power Coach? If you was coachable, it would guarantee your success. So, Power Coach,
right.
Wait, I hope everybody got their notes.
Get your notes, because I'm going to bring it.
So, Power Coach, I'm going to turn this thing over to you, and I'm going to sit back and I'm going to take notes as well. Let's get it.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, well, we're going to break down coachability from two perspectives because all of us here, this is a high-tech game. We know, follow the leader. And so the key is you're following your leader. You're going to need to be coachable, but you're also going to become a coach because as soon as you sponsor someone, guess what? You have put yourself into the role of having to develop and grow as a leader and to become a coach. And so sometimes we kind of, we jump into that situation. People don't know, like, how do I do that? I don't know how to do either side of that coin. I don't know how to really be coachable, and I certainly don't know how to flip that over and be effective as a coach. And coachability, both sides of that, being coachable and being able to coach well is critical to your duplication in your organization. You won't get the duplication through the builder program and certainly through the director program if you're not able to really break that down and and develop those coaching skills. So I just want to help you to really understand how to get this done. One of the things I want you to understand out of the gate, we had a conversation at convention when we were doing some director coaching with Coach Watkins, and I want everybody to understand being coached and coachability is not the same as submission. Sometimes, like, we can't make an assumption where we say coachability is just, okay, I just tell you what to do and then you just do it because I said so. Like, that's not what coachability is. Okay, when we're talking about coachability, it's not that. Sometimes we as novices in coaching, that's how we kind of want to approach it. It's just like, I'm going to tell you what to do, and you just do it. And if you ask questions or you're resistant in any manner, then that means you're not coachable. And that's not true. Coaching is a dual relationship. It's a two-sided relationship. There's two people in that relationship, and we have to come into a contracted relationship. You have to come into agreement to work together for a desired goal. If you think about it in athletics, you have a coach working with an athlete. You can think about it in business, a coach working with a person in business. You can think about it in music. You can think about it in all different realms. All wealthy top achievers in any endeavor have coaches. It's most visible in sports, but all top achievers in any area have coaches. A coach is there to bring out the best in you. They're there to help you see your blind spot. They're there to help you develop your skill set, hone it, to get your mindset together so that you can accomplish a particular goal. You can accomplish something that you set out in front that says, I'm not at that level yet. If I could get there by myself, I would. But the fact that I'm not able to achieve that on my own means I need someone else's input. I need their perspective on what I'm doing. I need them to help me develop my skills. If you think about the top elite athletes, we're seeing it in football, we see it in baseball, we see it in basketball. Every elite athlete has a coach, and they are responding to what that coach is seeing, even though they're at the top of their game. They're the best in their field. Coach Rollins, Coach Watkins, Coach Mack, they're at the top of their field. LaVonda Thornton, top of her field. You know what? These are elite performers, but they're all coachable. They're all coachable. They have coaches, and they are coachable. So how are we getting there? How are we getting that done? I want to break that down for you. If you're on the back line, be sure to mute out. Be sure to mute out if you're on the back line. If you're on the back line, be sure to mute your. Thank you. We've got one person on the director line, on the back line. If you can mute your phone, that'd be awesome. Okay, fantastic. Very, very good. So the first thing that I want you to understand is that you've got to come to agreement with your coach and with those that you are going to coach to say, we're going to work together to achieve a mutual goal. Okay, does that make sense? You have to contract that relationship. Don't assume that because they're in your downline, they're automatically going to respond to you, coaching them. And don't assume that with a person that is your senior business partner, your upline leader, that they know that you're ready to go, that you're ready to be coached, that you're ready to be receptive to what they're talking about. That has to be an explicit conversation and an explicit agreement that says, we're going to partner together to get to this goal. We're striving to get to directorship, or we're striving to get to goal builder, or whatever that goal is, 2020, director in training, 1-star, 2-star, all the way up. That's the goal. And we're going to come into agreement, and we're going to work in partnership. The coach is saying, I'm going to impart knowledge and skill. I'm going to stretch you. I'm going to look at what you're doing, and I'm going to give you perspective. I'm going to give you feedback. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to push you so that I can bring out the best in you. And elite athletes, their coaches are pushing them because they know what they're capable of. So they're going to stretch and push on them so that they can get them to perform at the top level. Okay, so, but that's an agreement in advance that says, okay, we're coming together because I believe that 1-star potential, 2-star potential, 3-star, 4-star is in you, but we've got to get an agreement. I'm going to push. I'm going to give you assignments. I'm calling plays. I'm going to give you development work to do. I'm going to give you specific things to do on the ground, and you're going to execute. And the goal is we're going to achieve that next level. We're going to achieve whatever it is that we define that we're going to do. If you haven't had that conversation where you're in agreement, where you're saying, I'm giving you permission to coach me. I'm receptive to it. If you haven't had that specific conversation, that's something that you need to do. That's something that you've got to sit down with your coach and mentor and have an explicit conversation, and you get in agreement not only about the coaching relationship, but the goal, what you're pushing toward. So you don't want to push someone who, for example, in their mindset, they want to go builder, and you're thinking, I'm going to take them director, and you're overloading them with things. You're overloading them with the activity, and what it's going to do is you're going to drive them away. They're like, man, this isn't what I signed up for. You're overwhelming me, because you're not in agreement with what the goal is. Both of you've got to say, yeah, I'm going after 1 star or 2 star, whatever it is, and you get in agreement. You say, okay, here's what it is. I'm going to call plays. I'm going to give you this activity. And I need you to execute. And I need you to execute on everything that I need, that I'm giving you to do. And I need you to trust my judgment, trust my leadership. When you enter into a coaching relationship, once you've done that, you're not questioning your coach anymore. If someone contracts with me personally to coach with me in my business, they don't ask me every week. They're not renegotiating that relationship every week. They're not coming back every week, and it's like we're renegotiating whether or not I'm their coach. Once you've had that conversation, that's it. From that point forward, when they're calling plays, now you just execute. You execute. You're not questioning their relationship. You're not questioning their authority in your life as your coach. You're receiving that. You've made a decision. You want that. You've made a decision on the goal you want. And after that, you put it to bed. If you say, if Coach Watkins is saying to Mr. Donald Bradley, I want to go 9-star, that's not renegotiated every step along the way. It's a done deal until they get all the way to 9-star. There's no in and out. I'm in, I'm not. I'm listening to you this week. Next week, I'm not. I'm arguing with you this week. Next week, I want to be coachable. It's not that. You have one decision. You have one conversation. After that conversation, it's not on and off, back and forth. You've got to settle that and be done. Even when they're telling you things that you don't like, even when your coach is calling plays, it's uncomfortable for you. It's stretching you. It's pushing you. That's the point of it. But you're not going to renegotiate that relationship. We have too many people that want to renegotiate on the field in between every play. You're renegotiating whether that person is your coach, whether they're going to listen to them. We can't do that. You won't succeed like that. You got to settle it once and for all and embrace that relationship. You have one time to make the decision. If you're going to say, I'm embracing Coach Watkins, I'm embracing Coach Wildman, Coach Thornton, whoever it is, you have one time to do that. Once that's done, it's a done deal. And as long as it takes to get to that goal, you're not pulling up roots and going back over that again and again and again. It's disruptive and it's difficult for the coach to be effective. Okay, so that's one thing I want us to really work on. I want you to settle. Okay, once you've done that, and now we're in the relationship. Okay, we've contracted, we're in the relationship. Now that coach is calling plays. One of the things that I struggle with, and I'll just be transparent. In this business, it always would bug me when I would see in the back office like people that have zeros next to their name. Like I'm giving them stuff to do, they're not doing it. And it would just trouble me. Like, how come some people succeed at a really high level and there's like all these people that don't succeed? Our business is a microcosm of exactly how human nature works, where you see the 3%ers and then you see the 97% or the 2% and the 98%. We have the same thing in this business. You have a certain group of people who are going to step up and they're going to rise to a high level, and there's other people who aren't. And I used to feel bad about that, and I wanted to bring everybody. And Coach Watkins will tell you, I wanted to bring everybody. I wanted to nurture everybody all the same way because I didn't want anybody to fail. I wanted everybody to succeed. But I was taking on responsibility for something that I don't own. Okay, like as your coach, we don't own your success. You own your success. You own your execution if you're going to do it or not. We owe you the ability to be successful in this business by giving you everything that we know, giving you all the details, all the plays, being there with you, standing with you. But you have to make the decision if you're going to succeed or not. You cannot abdicate that to your coach. You can't put that on your coach whether you're being successful. Just like the lady that Coach Ron was talking about, like, will it be? Is it going to succeed if you do the work? If you're coachable, if you execute on what we tell you to do, yeah. But if you don't do it, that's not something you can put back and say, you want to lay that at the feet of your coach. We have too much of that. You've got to say, I own my business. I own my results. I own what I produce. I own it. They're giving me this input. They're challenging me. But at the end of the day, the results are mine. What's in the genealogy, you own that. That's your number. You own that. We're going to give you the best. But you've got to own that. So I had to get free as a coach to say, I'm going to give them my best, but what they produce is up to them. What they produce, that's up to that individual. I don't own that. I don't own their results. I can't try to drag everybody. You can't do that as a coach. You've got to look and you've got to evaluate talent. So one of the things I had to learn from Coach Watkins was my job was to evaluate talent. So I came up with this little framework that I began to put people in categories, just like in athletics. I ran track and did different sports in school. And so I came up with this framework that said some people in your team are going to be your first string, some are going to be your second string, some are going to be your practice squad, and some people are going to get cut. And how they get cut is they cut themselves, right? They cut themselves. They credit hold or they cancel out. They get cut. Your job is you got to evaluate talent and you got to put the right people in the right spot as a coach. Okay, this is you. You're looking at your team and you're saying you got to assess, are they first string? Are they second string? Are they practice squad? What is that? Your first string, they're executing. They're doing they're executing on the plays you're calling. They're doing the PS3s. They're doing the travel parties. They're doing the plays as you call them. They are moving. They're producing results. You see them. They're doing the development. They're showing up to everything. They're in there, okay? The way I think about it when I'm sit down, I want to make a list of like the first stringers, they're going to hit my rank report. They're going to hit my rank report. When somebody comes into the business and they pay their $200 and they buy their business, when I think about that, now I think about that like that's the tryout. They bought their business. They own their business. But for me as a coach, what they've done is they put themselves in a position to try out for the team that I'm building. Okay, they own their business. But for me, when I'm looking at that individual, the $200 entry, that gives you the opportunity to get on the field and try out. That's what you've done. And now I'm going to sit down, I'm going to start calling plays with you, and I'm going to see and I'm going to evaluate how you perform with the plays I'm calling. If you do it and you execute, now I'm moving you. I'm moving you up and saying, okay, that's a person, they're on their way to first string. They hit that rank report, they go builder. Okay, that's who's your team. That's your first string team. You go look at your rank report. That's your first string. Now you've got some people that are developing, and they can be your second stringers. They're working it. They're learning their skill set. They're getting that second string. They're consistent. They're strong people that are delivering in the organization, but they may not be your top achievers. And you're going to spend a different amount of time with your first stringers than your second string, the people who are developing. You're still there. You're giving them plays. You're working with them, but you've got to differentiate. These are my core. These are my top people that I'm really going to work with, and I'm developing them that are going to be the key leaders in the organization. Practice squad people, what are they doing? They're not ready for activity yet. They're not ready for activity. What are we doing? We put them on personal development. They're still valuable. They're still part of the team. I'm glad they're here, but I'm not rating, like I always say, run with the runners, walk with the walkers. This is just a different way to think about it. Okay, in my mind as a coach, I'm trying to figure out who's first string, who's second string, who's practice squad. Those are the people who are still in development, right? They're not ready to go into activity yet. It doesn't mean that 6 months from now or 3 months from now, they might be ready to get on the field. It doesn't mean that. They might develop, get themselves to a point they're ready to take action. But I'm not going to spend an inordinate amount of time there. You're going to spend time taking your second stringers, bringing them up to first, and you're gonna spend the bulk of your time with that first string group, the people who are executing on what you're calling plays, what you're giving them to do. They're executing, and you're watching. You have to be a great evaluator of talent. It took me a long time to figure this out, like to really get this. Coach Watkins would say this to me, and it finally clicked in my head. So what I'm doing now is like, I'm looking at that. I can make a non-biased assessment. Sometimes we're biased in our coaching because I like this person. I'm friends with this person. I really want this person to be the one that's going to be the person that's going to be the most successful. As a coach, you can't be that. If you're putting the best team on the field and you're picking who's going to start, who's second string, you can't do that and have bias. Well, this person, they're my friend. No, you got to just look who's producing results, who's doing the things that I'm asking them to do, who is responding to the coaching, who is executing on the play. That's the first string. Who's moving? Bronze, silver, gold builder. Who's moving? 2020. That's your first string. The other ones may be producing some results. That's good. That's your second string. Work with them, develop them. But you got to be non-biased. You have to be able to just look at it and just look at the numbers and just be straightforward about that. Does that make sense? Then those people that are just in development, we don't get angry with them. We don't get frustrated. They're not doing anything. They're practice squad. They're there. They're getting their mind right. They're getting ready. They're not on the field yet. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. They're not in the game yet. That's okay. You're going to have a bunch of people that are in that category. I used to feel bad about that. I don't feel bad anymore because now I got a category. I can think about them a particular way, and I know what to do. Feed them. Give them development. Work on my second string to develop them to go first, and work on that first string. Make sure I'm there for that first string group of people. Okay, does that make sense? As a coach, you've got to kind of stratify your organization, and it's not personal. It's not personal. You are evaluating talent. Okay, you're evaluating talent. You've got to get good at being able to do that. All right, now once you've got that, now you got to start. You have to be consistent in calling plays. And to be a good coach, you got to be consistent in your play calling. We have a lot of people that are they want to be like in the skybox. Like they want to be in the skybox. Like you want to eat the snacks, you want to watch the game, but you're not on the field like actively with your clipboard calling plays. You're not actively watching like what is this person doing? How did their travel party go? Did I debrief it with them? Did they do well on inviting? Did they do well on their follow-up? Where is their skill set? Am I evaluating all of their different skills? Am I working with them? But I'm close enough to them that person by person by person, I know their strengths and I know their weaknesses. We have a lot of people that want to coach, but you want to coach remotely. It's like you're up in the, you're in the skybox, you're up there, you're eating, you're watching it on TV, but you're not on the field. Here, you got to be on the field with the clipboard, running up and down the sideline. You got to be there, looking at all the actions and being effective as a coach. So let me tell you some things from GoPro that you need to be able to coach on, that you need to assess. You need to look at your team, and you got to break down. When you're looking at your first stringers, you got to evaluate them. You got to look at your first and second stringers, and you got to be able to evaluate their skill set in the following areas. How well do they do finding prospects? Are they stronger belly to belly? Are they stronger in traditional network marketing, or are they stronger online? You got to know that by person in your organization. How are they comfortable speaking to people? Some people are really comfortable speaking to strangers, striking up a conversation, getting their information. You're going to have other people on your team. They're not comfortable with doing that. So are you calling plays that are going to work for the individuals and how they're configured on your team? You've got to be close enough to them and really assess them. How well do they do in skill number one, finding prospects? Number two, inviting prospects. If they're doing a travel party and no one's showing up, are you working with them? Are you role playing with them? Are you giving them new scripts? Are you close enough to where 3 days before the travel party, you're saying, okay, how many confirmed guests do we have? Where are we? So you can make a correction before you get to the travel party. Like, you can't be in the skybox, and now the only time you give them feedback is after the travel party wasn't successful. You're not doing a good job as a coach. You should be doing a countdown with them. We're 2 days away. Where are you? We're a day away. Okay, are you all set? Is everything ready to go? You've got to be good at evaluating and calling plays while they're in the midst of activity, right? So skill number one, finding prospects. Skill number two, inviting. If they're struggling with it, you've got to coach right in the middle of that. You can't wait. You got to do it right in the middle of when they're building up for that launch party. Okay, you got to be in the midst of that. Next skill you've got to assess: presenting. Their ability to present. First off, it's just their ability to like select the right videos, get the videos, how to set the appointment for the PS3, just the basic things that they need to do. They're not giving the presentation, just getting the information out, knowing how to transition that to a three-way call. You may just work on that play for a while. Just work on that till they get that down. Once they get that, okay, now we're going to work on a one-on-one. Let's see if we can get your skills developed for one-on-one. Now we're going to go to, you're presenting at your travel party. Then we're going to work our way up. But you've got to assess for the people on your team, and they're all different. Who's comfortable in front of the room? Who isn't? Are you working your way through that skill with them? Okay, that's one that you want to assess with those individuals. You should be doing that for your first string and your second string. You should be working on that skill set and understanding what to work on with them. Next one is follow-up. What kind of system of follow-up are they using? Do they have a system? Have you taught a system of follow-up? Are you just telling them to do it, or are you coaching them through actual follow-up? Are you sitting down with a list? Let's go through all the people that you've exposed, and let's get a follow-up schedule. What are you doing? How are you actively doing that? Now, one of the things that we're doing is I'm having them share with me their follow-up activities, so I know where are your appointments. When you have enrollment appointments, I want to know what those are. When you're doing your follow-up, how is that going? I want to be more actively involved. I don't want to be remote from that. Like, you should be doing it, but I don't really know what you're doing. I need to see your skill up close and personal so I can make adjustments in what you're doing. Okay, follow-up. Do you have a system? Are you teaching a system? And are you reviewing that with your first and second stringers so you can get them to be equipped? Next one. Helping them to onboard. This is critical. When someone brand new comes into the organization, how well are you doing with the enrollment and then getting them on the getting started, the 4-step training system, to game plan? That onboarding. Are you doing that right after the enrollment? Do you have a process? Are you teaching that? What are you doing? Are you observing that with your people, or are they can just kind of do whatever they want? If they're brand new and they're not a bronze, silver, I want to work with them until they're a gold builder, and I know that they can effectively onboard someone. They can do it correctly. Launch, taking them into launch, getting the launch call scheduled, the webinars, all of that. You've got to assess their ability to launch. That's the next skill that you should be looking at, okay? Helping the new person get on first 48 hours, and then right after that, going into launch, right? Helping that your new rep get started correctly. That's a separate skill. We entrust too much as coaches to bronze and silver builders that aren't able to do that well. They can't do that by themselves well. We can't entrust that to them. You got to be hands-on on the field and working with them to get that done. Promoting, your ability to promote events, that's the last skill set that you want to work with. Those that are first string, you definitely got to work with them and help, start shaping and helping their ability to promote events and teach and train them how to effectively do that, not just announce, but promote. I didn't promote events for a long time, just didn't see the value in it and just didn't want to do it, and had to learn that. That was something that I had to work on, and then the other one was launch. Like, I wasn't good at launch. But Coach Watkins had to work that until I could do it, correctly from a hands-on perspective. So she could look and say, you're strong in presenting, you're strong in inviting, but you're not strong in launch and you're not strong in promoting. If she's sitting down with Coach Mack, the list is going to look different. If she's sitting down with Coach Pete, the list is going to be different because our skill sets are different. So she's going to coach me and each one of us, Miss Ima, Jewel, and Alexis Strada. She's going to coach each one of us differently against this set of skills, right? Because we're all at a different place. So are you doing that as a coach? It's not just, I just tell you whatever I want. I can just tell you to do stuff and you just go do it. You have to have a method. Are you stratifying your team? Are you being objective with your team? If you sat down with your team and you say, okay, my first stringers, can I evaluate them in each of these levels of skill set? And which one are you working on? Don't try to work your team's skill set all at the same time. It's overwhelming. Work on one. Let me get you good at inviting. We're going to work on it until you can do it. Let me get you good at, being able to do your PS3. Let's work on whatever that skill is that you have to work on. I have some people right now really, really working with them on follow-up because they expose, they do the three-way, they don't follow up. So that's all we're talking about right now. I'm not talking about anything else with them till we get follow-up together. I'm just working on one. I'm working on one. But that's my job as an effective coach, is to have a game plan for how I'm going to coach the members of my team. Does that make sense? Now, flip over and put yourself in the role of you're being coached. These are the areas you can sit down with your coach and say, I need you to give me an honest, no holds barred assessment of how I'm doing in these different areas in my business. Like, no holding back, not going to get my feelings hurt. Tell me where I'm at. Am I first string, second string, practice squad? Where am I? And on these skills, how am I doing? How am I doing in these different areas? Let's go through my genealogy. Let's look at my activity. Give me a straight, honest answer of where I'm at. That's what we have to be able to do. We have to be able to switch gears. We have to be able to coach effectively and then be coached and be receptive to the input. But if we do it with a methodology, we're going to be a lot more effective. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? So I'm going to help you in your coaching relationship. If you can sit down with your leader and really get this area. Coachability is key to your success, and you've got to work both sides of it. You've got to be able to sit down and take the messaging. I would encourage every one of you, as we're going into the balance of this month and going into the latter part of this year, setting up for 2019, get it settled once and for all. Don't have a wrestling match with your coach. Don't go back and forth like one day they are, the next day they're not. You're back and forth. You're listening one day, then you're mad because they tell you something you don't like what they said. So now you're out of the coaching relationship. Settle that once and for all. Ask them, based on what I'm doing right now, where would you put me on your team? Am I a starter with you? Am I first string? Am I second string? Am I practice squad? Or am I working my way to being cut? If somebody's resistant, they don't let me coach them. They buck. They clap back. They're getting cut. I'm not going to spend time with that. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to spend time. I'm just real quick with that. Like, you're going to respect the relationship or you're not. And if you're going to push back, I'm just going to put you in a category. It's like, I'm not going to invest the time. I'm not going to do it. Some of you guys, you're like, man, my coach doesn't call me. My upline doesn't call me. You know why? Because you push back. You clap back. So you know what they're doing? They're like, okay, you're not receptive. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that anymore. So you got to fix that. Go back and say, look, I want to get my coaching relationship right. I'm going to settle it once and for all. I'm not going to push back. I don't want to get cut. I want to be on the team. I want to be a starter. What am I going to do to be a starter? Have that conversation with them. What do I need to do to be the person you can rely on? What do I need to do to be that consistent person that you can? I'm your go-to player. How do I become that person? How do I grow there? Okay. Get yourself in that position. Have an honest conversation with them. Then sit down and go through those skills. How am I doing in each of these areas? Do you trust me in front of the room? Do you trust me to be able to present? Or am I doing a good job onboarding? Or am I dropping the ball? Am I dropping the ball on launch? Am I dropping the ball in follow-up? Where am I weak? Where are my strong areas? And take the feedback. Then make a plan and say, which one should we work on first? Which one is the key to my income-producing activity? What should we work on, Coach? What are we going to work on today? And just work on one at a time until you get it down, and then go back and say, okay, I'm ready to work on the next thing. Do that. Like, demonstrate good coachability. And if you're good at that, if you're coachable, you demonstrate good coachability, then you can turn around. You can coach your team with sensitivity and compassion and a desire to really see them win, and they're not going to push back against you. They're going to receive you, but you're not going to be effective as a coach if you won't be coached. If you're wrestling upline with your senior business partner, there's no way you're going to be effective with the people in your downline, because they see how you behave, and they're going to act the same way. You're going to get a whole bunch of the same thing that you do. Whatever you sow, that's what you're going to reap. So get your relationship together first. Coachability is the key to your success. And then turn around and begin to coach into your organization. And you're going to get tremendous duplication. You're going to get responsiveness. They're going to be open to you. They're going to appreciate what you're telling them. They're not going to be offended. They're going to be open because they know that you have their best interest at heart. Okay? We got to get out of the skybox and get down on the field. We got to get on the field with the clipboard, and you got to know what you're working on. What are you working on with each person on your team? Get a whiteboard tonight. Set it up. Write your team members out there. Who's my first string? Who's second string? Who's developing but they're not quite there yet? Who can I work with? Who can I break down their skill set and help them go to the next level? Who's practice squad? They just need to get on some really strong development. They need to be reading. They need to be on some audio. I need to get their confidence up. They're not ready yet, but I can develop them. I'm glad they're here. And who are the people that I need to have a frank conversation with because they're borderline, like you're ready to get cut because I'm not going to deal with the attitude. I'm not going to do it. We're going to get this straight or we're not going to do it. Okay, you may have some people in your organization you need to have that conversation with. Like, I'm not going to wrestle with you to tell you the information that you need to succeed. You're either going to settle down in the relationship or I'm going to move on. And that's what it is. You know, this is business. It's just straightforward. You got to make that decision. Let's get that on the whiteboard. Let's get ready to go coach our teams and be effective. Does that make sense? So first, work on your relationship up. Then turn around and do the right actions with your team as you coach for duplication in your organization. I believe if you'll do these principles, if you get this mindset of coaching and you do it objectively without feelings in it, without emotion in it, without friendship in it, just looking at it objectively, you're going to be enormously successful and you're going to help your team to be extremely successful as well. Coachability is the key to your success. And that's it. Coach Rollins,